Today we are going to dive into an essential aspect of CSS, and we are going to learn about CSS Float and Clear properties. These properties play a crucial role in controlling the layout and positioning of an element on our web page. So let's start with the basics. What does float means in CSS? Well, when you apply the float property to an element, you are essentially telling it to move to one side of its parent container, either to the left or the right side. This creates a flow where other elements can wrap around it, like text around an image. And the available values for the float property include left, which positions the element to the left of its container. Then the value right positions the element towards the right side, while the value none keep it in its default position. By default, the float property is set to none. Additionally, if you use the value inherit, the element will inherit the float value of its parent element. Now you might wonder, why do we need to use the float property? Floats are incredibly useful when you want to create responsive layout or achieve a particular design, like a text-wrapped image or a multi-column setup. It allows you to position elements within their container in unique and creative ways. Let's get practical. We have two main options: float left and float right. When an element is floated left, it moves to the left side of its container, and content flows around its right side. Conversely, when floated right, it shifts to the right side and content wraps around its left side. While float is a valuable tool, it does come with some challenges. Elements with float applied may not behave as expected, sometimes causing layout issues like container collapse, and this is where the clear property comes into play. The clear property helps you control how element interact with floated element. It tells an element not to float beside a specified side of a floating element. For example, if you have an element with clear left applied, it won't float beside elements that are floated to the left. The clear property in CSS can be assigned one of several values to control how an element interacts with floating elements. Now if you set the left value, the element will be pushed below left floated element. If you set the right value, the element will be pushed below right floated element. Choosing both will result in the element being pushed below both left and right floated elements. Lastly, selecting inherit means that the positioning behavior of the element is inherited from its parent. These options allow for flexible and precise control over how our elements interact with each other on a web page. To properly clear floats, it's important to match the clear property with the corresponding float. For instance, if you have an element floated to the left, you should use clear left to ensure that any clear elements appear below it on the web page. This way, your floated element will still maintain its position while allowing other content to flow correctly. Let's solidify our understanding with some examples, and we will create scenarios with floated elements and apply clear to observe the changes in layout and positioning. Now here is the example in which we are going to use this float property. So in this example, we have this parent container with the class of first, and in this container we have this image and a paragraph. Now here is the situation where we need that float property that we just learned. Now here we want to move this image to the right side of this text. How we can achieve this? We can achieve this by simply using the float property to that element which we want to move to the right side. In our case, we want to move this image element to the right side of this text. So we just need to use float property on this image element, and after writing the property's name, we just need to enter the value like left, right, inherit or none. In our case, we want to float this image to the right side of this paragraph. So we need to use float right property like this. Now after saving this file, you can see now our image is at the right side of this paragraph. We can also move this image to the left side of this paragraph by simply changing this right value to left like this. And you can see now our image is at the left side of this paragraph. Now here we have a problem that our image is overflowing from this parent container. This is our parent container and our image is overflowing from this container. And here is how we can fix this problem. To fix this, we just need to use overflow property to this parent element, and then I will set its value to auto. Now after saving this file, you can see our problem is now fixed by simply just using this overflow property and setting its value to auto. Now after float, we have another property which is clear property, and this property helps us to control how elements interact with floated elements. And here, if we don't want this image to float to the left side of this paragraph, we can simply use clear property on this paragraph, and let me show you how we can do that. We can do this by simply selecting this paragraph element, and then here the image is on the left side. So we need to use clear left property like this, and after saving, you can see now the left side of this paragraph is now cleared and our image is now at the top of this paragraph. This is how we can use this clear property to clear the sides of our elements. And there you have it. Understanding how to use float and clear can be a game changer in your web development journey. Whether you want text wrapping around an image or a multi-column layout, these CSS properties give you the power to craft visually appealing web designs. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to join this exciting web development journey with us. Until next time, keep coding and keep creating. I will see you in the next video.